What's up, YouTube friends? We are back for another video of Zach Writes Code. We're going to continue on with integrating Git into our Tiny File Manager. Pretty pumped about today. We're going to add some Git status elements on the folder view page. So down here you'll be able to see Git status as well as the highlighting that we did in the previous video. And when you click into a file, if there is changes, it'll show the status and the diff, the Git diff. And then for fun, we're also going to throw in the markdown README.md functionality that you see on GitHub, where if you've got a README.md in your folder that you're looking at, it'll show up at the bottom. You guys know what I'm talking about. So without any further delays, let's get started. We're going to go into our files.php, open the editor. We're going to do a couple things. We're going to refactor the code we wrote in the last video a little bit, because I want to use Git status for a few more purposes than just throwing out some styles. So we're going to do a new function called Git status style, and then we'll also take in the path parameter just like the one above. Yeah, let's scroll down so we can see what we're doing. And we're going to do $get status equals get status, throw in the paths. And what we're going to be expecting from this function now is either a string that says clean, a string that says modified, or a string that says staged. And so we're going to be able to send the proper styling based on that. And then we'll be able to use the get status function for more things than just getting styles. So switch $get status. All right, so we'll do case clean, case modified, case staged. Of course, colons will return for clean, just an empty style string. And for modified, we will return our red. Oh, come on, don't do that. Copy, paste, and then for staged, we will return yellow. Okay, copy, paste, and now we're going to change these to return either staged or modified. Or clean. All right. Got to throw in these colons here. Forgot about those. Okay. So that's good. Let's get back up to where we implemented the use of this function and change that to get status styles, or get status style rather. Same thing here. And we're going to hit save. Let's see, double check, make sure this is still working. We'll make a quick change to one of our files, make sure it highlights. Save, come back, and we broke it. Why did we break it? Why did it break? Did I save this? Get status style. get status style. We got to return. Oh, no, we are returning. So what is that all about? Clean modified. That probably helps a little bit. Save, refresh, bam, there we go. And of course, because we're working on files.php, that lit up red as well. Let's add our test.php just to make sure it turns yellow. Git add test.md, sorry, test.md, not PHP. Git status, and now it should be lit up yellow, and it is, perfect. So now moving on, I want to get a git status down here, and we're going to create a couple, I'm going to call them components for lack of a better way to describe them for now. And we're going to do a couple things. We're going to do a show git status. And that one's going to take a path and optionally a get status from get status, whether it's either clean, modified, or staged. That way we don't have to run it twice, because you'll see here when we go to use this function that we're going to run get status first to get the actual status. And then we'll show the actual get status, so we don't have to run get status twice. You'll see what I mean. Get status equals open and close. All right, so there's that. We'll go ahead and put in the shell of the other functions we're going to do, or the other components. We're also going to have a show get diff. That one's just going to take a path. And it helps if I know how to type the word function. Sometimes, you know. And then we're going to also, for our README, we're going to do a function show README underscore MD. Same thing with a path. Okay. Cool. So for the show get status, it's going to be pretty simple. We'll take our status equals shell exec, and we're just going to run get status $path. And then from there, we're going to echo out some HTML. Pretty simple stuff. Echo an HR. We'll echo an H3. If I can quit hitting buttons that I'm not trying to hit, that would be wonderful. And we'll do get status and colon, and this is where if the get status is set, you know, whether it's clean, modified, or staged, or whatever you want to pass into that function, you can also throw that in here. And additionally, we're going to echo a code block that'll get, well, it really won't get highlighted because it's just a shell code block, but it'll present itself with a little bit of markup. Okay, we're going to wrap this in single quotes so I can use double quotes inside of it. Open and close pre-tag. Open and close code tag. And inside the code tag, actually we're going to take those white spaces out of there. FM encode, file manager encode. Where are we at? $status. We got to add some classes to the pre. Class equals, we're going to call this one with -hfiljs. And the code will be class equals diff hljs. Command save. Okay. So where we are going to put this command, I want to put it at the bottom here. So just do a quick inspect, and you'll see that there's a form. If we scroll down, make sure we're in it. Yeah, form. So format equals action method post, and row table responsive div. So let's just look for that. Let's look for the form action, and I know it's going to be toward the end, so we'll just do that. Form, and then we'll look backwards through, and actually we're already there. The other part that we're looking for is this right here, because this is what's inside that right there. So we see we've got input hidden name P and input hidden name group. So we're there. So we know we need to be after this. So we'll scroll down. And actually, we would even want to be after the footer, which is buttons at the very bottom. So, very simply, we will do, I forget what it's called now, show get status. And we're going to throw an fn path. That's the constant for file manager for the path that you're currently looking at in this view. So hit save and refresh. Okay, so we're getting somewhere, but that didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. Inspect, let's see what we messed up. Code class. Oh, actually we messed up nothing. So there's one more thing that I want to do, and I want to change the theme of the highlighting. They're using highlight.js in File Manager, and you can choose the theme that you want. So we're searching for highlight.js, and this is like way up here at the top, right here, VS. I'm going to change this to Railscast. Again, this is preference. You can change it to whatever you want. Refresh. Oh, did I save it? Come on. Rails. Oh, Railscasts. Got to put in the correct name. Refresh. Bam. Okay. So there we are. Now you'll notice here that it is very hard pressed up against the edge of the window. So we are going to drop this in a container. That way it'll look a little bit nicer. Show get status. We're just going to echo a div with the class of container. And I keep forgetting to use single quotes so that I can use double quotes. One of these days I'll get the hang of this whole coding thing. And then close that div tag down here. Save, Tiny File Manager, refresh, bam. So that looks a little bit nicer, a little more formatted. Let's go ahead and get our README going. We don't have a README file in here yet, but we're going to rename test.md to README.md. That way we'll have a file for it to work with. Cool, README.md. And that lit up red now because now that tests got removed and now README's in its place. So that's a new file in the from the perspective of Git. All right, go into our code again and bring it down to the show README. Let's get this going. Okay, $README equals $path. That's going to get passed in .readme.md. And this may be wrong for a minute, but we'll fix it. We'll fix it if it breaks. First, we're going to check and make sure that the file actually exists. And if it does, we're going to go into our parse down. So if you guys haven't followed along in my videos up to this point and you're just kind of joining us, I do have parse down, markdown parser installed on this server. So you're going to want to do that at the very least in order for this to work, or you can install your own if you've got a different one you want to use. I actually do need to go to the top of this file and require that in. Let's do that. throw it in right here, require parse down / parse down.php. Cool. All right. $readme equals file get contents. And the readme is a path at the moment, but after that line, it will become the contents of the file. We're going to start with a horizontal rule. And we're going to go into another container, div class equals container. And I keep doing this. I'm just so used to using the double quotations. I don't know why. I don't typically write it like this. Container. And of course, we're going to close the div tag. Actually, no. We're going to close that after we put in the markdown. We are going to add in a little header just to show that this is a README. Kind of like what GitHub does, at least similar. And we're going to throw in another HR to keep it separate. And finally, we will echo the markdown, or what is actually returned from the markdown parser, rather. And then close our div. Save. And then we're actually going to do this just above where we did our show get status. So we're going to show README.md fm path. Save. Tiny File Manager. That did not work. Why did that not work? Sometimes maybe you just gotta run it twice. There it is. Cool. We've got our README working. And because I'm thinking this might not work in subfolders, let's go ahead and do a quick README in a subfolder and see what happens. README.md. Continue. We're going to click into Edit, Advanced Editor. I'll just do a quick test. Oh, come on. Come on. I am hello world happy. Classes. Okay, get status. Yeah, so the README is not working in this case, and that's because of the slash. So we got to do something just a slight bit different for the path here. I'm trying to think of what the best way to do this is, because it's going to pass in classes. Just for quick check, I want to add that slash in to make sure that's what I need to do. Yeah, okay, that is what I need to do, but obviously that's going to break the root folder. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to get our root folder, droot equals $server document root, because we're in the root folder anyway. So we can do exactly that. $droot dot, I believe we'll need another slash, dot path. Yeah, I think that will fix this problem. Refresh. Still working there. Go back into the root. It's still working there. Yeah, cool. That fixed the problem. All right, moving on. Now what I want to be able to do is when we click into one of these files, I want to be able to get the status of the file and the diff. Because we already wrote get status, we can throw that in pretty quick. And what we're looking for here is, let's see, we're in navbar, wrapper. Trying to remember where to put this now. Modal fade row break pre-class with HLJS. So let's search for that. We're going to find a few with dash HLJS. And here we are. So right here before they echo content, this is where we're going to do some of our magic. And it's going to go something a little like this. We're going to grab the get status equals get status, and we'll throw in the file path this time, which is actually the full path. So that should work very well. This is also here in the file manager as well. So I'm just using variables that are already available to us inside of the file manager. And maybe if the author of file manager sees me doing this, maybe he'll scream at me and yell at me and tell me how horribly I'm doing. But if that's the case, maybe he can leave us some comments and tell us the right way to do this. Okay, so get status equals get status file path. And if $get status equals, excuse me, does not equal clean, then we're going to show the get status. We'll do show get status $file path, and this is where we're going to pass in the actual status too, so that it'll show up next to that header. Colon. Okay, and then and this is where we're going to do our diff, which we still have to implement the function yet, but we'll go ahead and put this in here. Well, before we do that, let's just save and make sure that this is working the way it should. All right, save, refresh. We didn't get it. Why didn't we get it? If get status does not equal clean, show get status file path. Yeah, this, yeah, no, that should, yeah, there it is. Okay, must be getting cached or something. So there it is, get status modified, and it is showing you what you would see in the console for that file. Perfect. So let's go ahead and work on getting the diff. So if $get status equals modified, then we're going to show the get diff. And we're actually going to do this instead of showing the code, which is what it's doing right now. Control X. Okay, so else echo content. So if get status equals modified, show get diff file path. Save. Okay, this is obviously not going to do anything yet because show get diff file path is not implemented. So yeah, not going to do anything there yet, but you can see that it did not echo the code below it. So that is actually working from that respect. Show get diff. Let's go ahead and fill that function out now. So for get diff, see what I did there? I know. You can smack me if you'd like. $diff equals shell exec get diff. I should use some quotation marks there. That'll help. Get diff $path. And then echo an HR. Because I'm horizontal rule happy. I just like to divide things with horizontal rules. And we'll just say get diff colon right. And then we'll echo the code block. Okay, remember, single quotations, not double, so that we can use double quotations inside of it. Pre, open, and close. And then code, open and close, dot, dot, and then fm encode, file manager encode, $diff. And for pre-class, we're going to do the same thing as the show get status class equals with dash HLJS, and then the code class is diff and HLJS. All right, save. Tiny File Manager. Restore. Okay, so it is showing get diff, but because this is a new file, there's nothing to diff it from. So we need to actually go try this with a file that's been changed, that has modifications like all the stuff we just did to files.php. Let's see what that looks like. All right, I think we've got it. Yeah, require parse down. It's showing the diff of all the changes that we just made to our files.php. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's commit this. We'll do git status. Let's see, we'll just do git commit -a, which is going to add them and commit them all at the same time. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and add files.php so we can see how that responds in the interface. So now, if we go to Tiny File Manager, we can see files.php is yellow, which is good because that means it's staged. Come in here, get status staged, so that works. You can even see it here. And then it doesn't show the git diff, which is good because there's nothing to show. When you run git diff on a staged file, it doesn't show anything. So now it's just showing the code again. I'm going to go ahead and add a little extra part there to put a title over the code, just because I kind of prefer it that way. Git, where are we? Show git diff. We'll go back up here. Whoops, we were there, weren't we? Yes, we were. And I'm just going to echo an H3 code. Save. Yep. Now, something interesting is going to happen here. Let's come back out. Oop, page is not working. I ruined it. What did I break? Oh, I got a semicolon I got to pop in there. Hopefully I can do that. No, I totally broke it. I think I totally broke it. So, guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to hack a little bit. Git status. So we want to discard the changes we just made to files, but we don't want to lose everything. Because we did stage files. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to have to do this all over again. Git restore. Yeah, hopefully this works. To discard changes in the working directory. All right. Files, yellow. Cool. So we didn't totally ruin it. Let's try this again. Save. Saved successfully. Perfect. Now, if we come out, we'll see, let's see, files.php, staged. Oh, it didn't save this. Let's hit refresh on this. And find it again, git diff. Yeah, okay, let's try this one more time. This time, let's remember the semicolon so we don't completely break everything. /h3 code. Save. Come out, refresh. Huh. What's happening? I think I know what's happening. Yep, the file is owned by root, so I can't save it anymore, and that's something that we'll fix in a later video. Every time you have to do things like git restore and blah blah blah, it changes the ownership because I'm doing this under the root user. So let's fix that really quick. Tiny File Manager. There we go. Now I can hit save. Cool. Okay, so here's something interesting that's now happening. We have files.php staged, and we have a files.php that is not staged. And you can see that here. So it goes back to get status modified, and then it shows a git diff. Oh, I gotta fix that. That looks horrible. Let's fix that. 2 Fs. Refresh. Yeah, okay. So it's showing you the difference right now between the code that's in the working directory and what's been staged. So if we add this code, we can do a couple of things. We could do what we just did, which is restore it, and then it'll just be back to the file that's in the staged area, and we'll just discard this. Or we can add this to what's already been staged, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. So we'll do git status, we'll do git add files.php, and should see that reflected in here when we come in. Yep, git status staged, it's in there, it's all ready to go. So let's go ahead and commit everything now. I'll just do git add, that'll add everything. Git add dot. Yeah, there we go. Git status. Okay, then we have renamed test.md to readme.md, new file classes readme.md, and then modified files.php. Cool. Git commit -m. And the message will be added git status and git diff to Tiny File Manager. And we'll do git push. Push this up to the GitHub. Pushing, pushing, pushing. And now in our Tiny File Manager, we should see reflected that there's nothing else highlighted. If we come down to git status, we can see now that we're on branch master and everything is clean. Go back over to GitHub, hit refresh. We now have 3 commits. Our README is showing up here in GitHub as well as in our Tiny File Manager. And you can see the latest one was added git status and git diff to Tiny File Manager. Cool. That's going to conclude this video for now. Keep coming back, keep checking back, because we're going to keep going on adding some Git functionality to the Tiny File Manager. I hope you guys are having fun. I know I am. We'll see you guys in the next video.